Welcome back to the Eagles Nest, where the Cal State LA men take on the Chico State Wildcats in a CCAA contest. If you're just joining us, the Cal State LA women lost the first game of tonight's doubleheader to Chico State by a score of 73-67. Now the Cal State LA men take the court. After having split two games last weekend, they beat Sonoma State last Friday 62-53, but they then lost to San Francisco State 71-65. And boy, that's been the story of the year for Cal State LA. They've been a Jekyll and Hyde team all season in the conference. They play well one game, and then the next game, they don't play so well. Even from half to half, you can say they play well and then don't play well. A good example of that is their record this year as far as how they've done. They've split two games versus Cal State Dominguez Hills, winning here and losing at their place, but they've also split all three conference weekends so far, winning a game and losing a game. So that's why it explains their 4-4 conference record. If you win one game and lose one game every weekend, you're going to be 500, obviously. They're 7-5 overall. But the example of how unpredictable they are was last weekend, where they finished the game excellent against Sonoma State. They scored the final 9 points of the game against Sonoma State to win that one by 9. But then the next night against San Francisco State, they led by 18 points at halftime, played great, and then didn't finish the game at all. They blew that lead in the second half and lost 71-65. So you just never know from one game or one half to the next how the Golden Eagles will play. Hopefully they can end that trend this weekend and win two games instead of just one. But that last loss to San Francisco State made a big difference in the standings for the Golden Eagles. They could have been tied for fourth place with Chico State coming into tonight's game, but instead they're in a logjam, three-way tie for fifth place, right in the middle of the conference. And they're just as close to last place, unfortunately, right now as they are to first. They're 3 games out of first place, but they're also 3 games out of last place. So they're going to need to turn around this win one, lose one mentality if they're going to finish near the upper half of the conference or contend at the end of the year. But anyway, they face a Chico State team that had high expectations this year. Chico State was the regular season CCA conference champion last year. They won a school record 25 games. They lost to Humboldt State in the championship game of the CCA conference tournament. They made the NCAA tournament and beat Humboldt State and actually lost in the second round to the eventual national champion, Western Washington. They were predicted to win the CCA this year, but they've kind of performed below expectations so far. They split their 2 games last weekend. They were upset by UC San Diego 65-62. They then turned around and beat Cal State San Bernardino 69-65, a much better team, so kind of go figure with them also. This game should be a very hard-fought defensive battle. This is the opposite of the first game. If you were with us for the women's game, had the 2 top-scoring offensive teams in the country. This game has 2 of the best defensive scoring teams in the country. Cal State LA is 4th in the country in points allowed, only giving up 57 points a game. Chico State is 5th, giving up 57.2. So 2 excellent defensive teams. Chico State, of course, they've won 4 out of the last 5, so they come into this game hot. They hurt themselves early in their season by losing to Cal Poly Pomona and Cal State Stanislaus at home. So that explains part of the reason for their bad start. They're kind of the opposite of their women's team. They had very high expectations to win the conference this year, and they've underperformed so far. The women have overperformed after having not quite as high expectations. But this is a veteran team. They can turn it around at any second. They have 13 players returning from last year, including 4 starters. So they are not a team to take lightly at all. This is a very good team. Let's quickly get to the starting lineups for this one. First for the Wildcats, they start at one guard spot, number 11, Rashad Parker, a 6-foot junior from Castro Valley. The Wildcats have a big starting lineup. They start at the other guard spot, number 5, Demario Sims, a 6-foot senior from West Oakland. He is a key player for them. He was first team All-CCAA last season. And he was unfortunately a big part of a Chico State comeback last year against Cal State LA up north in a game the Golden Eagles let get away in the second half. Demario Sims led that charge. Started at the forward spot, number 45, Jordan Simple, 6'7" sophomore from Arcata. So that's Humboldt State country. Interesting, he went to Chico State. Starting at the other forward spot, number 15, Amir Caraway, a 6'5" junior from Vallejo. And starting at the center spot, number 44, Jason Conrad, a 7-foot senior from Gilroy. Boy, that's a rarity in this conference to see a 7-footer, but he's not only a 7-footer, he starts and plays pretty good minutes. So he will certainly be quite a challenge for Jordan Richard tonight. Richard usually not used to dealing with someone of that size. Greg Klink is the head coach of Chico State in his 5th year with a record of 71-57. His assistants are Chris Cobb, Phil Rasmussen, and Tim Haley. Now let's get to the Golden Eagles starting lineup. It's the same starting lineup they've had for the past couple games, so it should be familiar to you as they start number 1, Joshua Munson at 1 guard, a 6'2 freshman from Long Beach. Munson struggled a bit the last couple games offensively, but he had a couple of very impressive scoring games before that, including a career-high 20 against Cal State Monterey Bay, last home game here at the Eagles Nest. Starting at the other guard spot is number 15, Quentin Watkins, a 6'4 junior from Englewood. He really struggled last weekend, only scoring 4 points in the 2 games, and he went scoreless against San Francisco State after he looked like he found himself against Monterey Bay. But he's back in the starting lineup, so we'll see if he can get it going again. Starting at the other forward spot is number 10, Solomon Singer, a 6'5 junior from Santa Monica. He had a breakout weekend last weekend, getting 12 points against San Francisco State. He also had 12 rebounds against Sonoma State. He's definitely getting much more comfortable with increased playing time. He's been a valuable member to the starting lineup. Starting at the other forward spot is number 3, James Tillman, a 6'6 junior from Oakland. He struggled in the last game because of foul trouble, only scoring a season-low 3 points. His previous low was 12 points, so he really had a tough night. Starting at the center spot, of course, number 23, Jordan Richard, a 6'9 senior from Rancho Cucamonga. He's the leading shot blocker in the nation, averaging almost 5 blocks a game. But he also leads the conference in rebounds and field goal percentage. Stephen Thompson, of course, is the head coach of the Golden Eagles in his 8th season. Gary Vasquez and Dane Settle are his assistants. Stephen Thompson with an even 102 and 102 record in his 8th season. So the lineups have been introduced. The players are out on the court for their respective benches, and we're about ready to get this one underway. The cheerleaders are trying to rev up the crowd, as is the pep band here tonight. It's been an excellent job by the pep band here, trying to give spirit to this Golden Eagle crowd. Looks kind of like a sparse crowd so far. Of course, Chico State traveling a long ways to get to this game, so they may have not traveled very many of their fans. But we'll see if the crowd fills in here as the game gets underway. It's just after 7:30, so the game's not starting late like it did last time we were here against Cal State Monterey Bay. You may remember that game, I believe, didn't start until about 8:30. Boy, it started late. We were here for a late night. Hopefully we won't be here as long for this one, as the players are out on the court exchanging greetings. Chico State's in their red uniforms with white letters. Cal State LA in their their white uniforms with black letters. So we're about ready to get this one underway. I hope you enjoy it wherever you're listening to it on the Cal State LA Athletics Network. Conrad and Richard in the center circle. And Richard wins the opening toss, and we are underway. Munson in the front court. Chico State comes out in a 2-3 zone. Now Watkins gets over to Munson. He swings around to Tillman. In the key to Watkins. Watkins nowhere to go. Gives it off to Munson. Munson gives it off to Watkins. Watkins swings around to Tillman. Tillman drives to the free throw line. Kicks off. No one wanted it. Watkins gets it finally. Boy, it went through 2 hands there. Now Richard gets the ball knocked away. It goes to Singer. 8 seconds on the shot clock. Golden Eagles have nothing happening here. Richard pulls up for a fall-away 18-footer. No good. Defended well. Boy, Chico State with really tough defense on that first possession. We'll see if the Golden Eagles can come out and match their intensity on defense on this end. As Semple has the ball in the front court off to Conrad. He swings it around. Now in low. Parker gets it to Semple. Fall-away 5-footer banked in. Tillman let him go. He was afraid he was going to get a foul. Gave Semple an open bank shot, so Chico State strikes first and leads 2-0. Now Tillman gets over Singer. Richard posted up on Conrad in low. They don't even look to him. Munson straight over 3, not close. Hits to the front rim. Boy, he was open, but that did not seem like a very good shot. Richard was calling for the ball. Of course, that was a problem here last time the Golden Eagles were at home. They could not get Jordan Richard the ball much at all. Teams packed the paint. Now Sims pulls up for 3 on the wing. No good. Tillman high for the rebound. Quickly coming the other way. Chico State is quickly back. Now the Golden Eagles will reset. So Munson looks to Coach Thompson to run a play. Now Singer. This Golden Eagles really playing slow motion here. Now Watkins fakes the three, looks to drive, kicks over to Munson. Tillman sets the screen. Munson goes around it through three defenders, but the ball's knocked away by Semple. He dives on loose ball, and his elbow was out of his shoulder was out of bounds. Boy, he was sliding and almost had it. He did get it, but his shoulder was just barely touching the end line. So it'll go back to Cal State LA, and they call that possession. So it'll be a full 35 seconds. As Singer will inbound the ball to Munson 2 minutes into this one. Golden Eagles looking to scratch for the first time. You may remember against Cal State East Bay, the Golden Eagles had trouble scoring at the beginning of the game also. As Singer misses that shot. Of course, they had trouble scoring the entire game, only scored 45 points against East Bay. But it's worth noting that they had trouble scoring the first few minutes of that game since they're having trouble right now in this one. And it's the same kind of pace right now as Conrad in low against Singer. Richard comes over to help. Now it's swung around to Semple. Semple drives inside. He sees Richard. He fakes and he traveled. That's Jordan Richard right there. Semple wanted to shoot, but he saw Jordan Richard ready to reject it, and he took a hop and traveled. Remember, Jordan Richard leads the country in blocks, but he also has many other deflected shots that really hurt the opposition. He forces the opponent into tough shots, and that's a lot more important than blocks a lot of times, because you get those loose balls when in block shots a lot of times the other team might get the loose ball. Now Munson gets off the Singer. Now he gets the ball back. Gets over to Watkins. Pulls up for a long two. No good. Richard high for the rebound. So the Golden Eagles get another chance. Richard pull up 10-footer in the lane. Off the rim. No good. Munson races for the rebound. Throws it off Parker. But they say Munson was out of bounds. Too bad. Nice hustle by Munson. He just couldn't stay in bounds before he threw it off Parker. So over 3 minutes into this one, it's still only 2-0 Chico State. Golden Eagles showing full court pressure. Sims brings it in the front court. Gets off to Parker. Conrad, the big 7-footer, pulls up from 13 and knocks it down. So Conrad showing a little bit of touch there for his first basket. Makes it 4-0. Richard missed an open jumper on the other end. Now Singer looking inside. Can't get it to anyone, and Munson will reset, and Coach Thompson wants a timeout. He does not like the offense Cal State LA is running at all, and I can't blame him. 16:29 to go here in the first half. Cal State LA is trailing in a very slow start, 4-0 on the Cal State LA Athletics Network.
California's engineering innovations circle the globe and light the darkness. The California State University system has been enlightening promising engineers for the past 5 decades. Cal State LA graduate Pervez Lodi is the founder and president of Ledtronics, a leading light-emitting diode company.
If you work hard, get proper education, the American dreams are still available there to everybody.
The California State University system has been working for California for 50 years.
16:29 remaining. The Golden Eagles have not scratched yet. They kind of see a mirror of themselves on defense in Chico State, and they have not responded well to it at all so far. This tough, hard-nosed defense, pressure defense, a zone that Chico State has that isn't the same as the Golden Eagles zone, but it does look very similar. As Watkins gets over Singer. Now backdoor Tillman wide open. They finally get it to him. Shot rejected. I believe that was number 15 who blocked it. Amir Caraway. So Sims has the ball guarded by Munson. Now he goes around the screen, gets up to Conrad. Reaching in is Solomon. Singer forces the held ball. Possession goes to the Golden Eagles. Nice help defense there by Singer. Conrad looked like he was going to stroll in for a layup, and Singer reached in and forced the tie-up. So Singer making his contribution known now as the officials at the scorer's table. Willie Trimble getting ready to check in early. Watkins will sit down, so Coach Thompson and having a short leash for Watkins after he couldn't do anything offensively here in the first few minutes. Trimble, a lockdown defender. You figure he might guard Sims a lot in this game, but they have him on Parker right now. Semple underneath lays it up and in. Boy, breakdown on defense. Nobody went to Semple at all. He was all by himself underneath the basket. Make it 6-0 Chico State. Now Tillman gets over to Munson. Singer guarded by Semple. Underneath the Richard. Nice find. Richard fall away, 7-footer. Not close, didn't hit the rim. In fact, Richard kind of hurried that shot. He didn't need to. Parker fakes the shot out, wide open for three, Caraway, no good. Trimble tips the rebound, goes off to Munson. Finally, the Golden Eagles looking to run. Munson, underneath, puts up a wild shot, 8-footer, no good. They say it was before the shot, so it'll be ball out of bounds. Foul. It was on Conrad, so they certainly want to keep Conrad out of foul trouble. That's his first. Singer will get a quick rest. Julian Camper will come in, number 40. He had a nice weekend last weekend also. He had 9 points in both games. The first back-to-back good offensive games he's had this season. So we'll see if he can get that offense going again. Now Munson. Tillman looking inside to Richard. They get it to him, but it was too low of a pass. Richard couldn't handle it. Bounce pass goes right out of bounds. So the Golden Eagles just all kinds of out of sync here on offense. They're 0 for 7 so far shooting. And that was only their first turnover, believe it or not, so you can't blame turnovers. They just cannot get any kind of good shot at all so far against the Chico State defense, and they are playing in slow motion right now on the offensive end. They're not moving without the ball at all. They're standing around and throwing it around the perimeter, which is what a defense like Chico State wants them to do. So there's discussion at the scorer's table, 15-11 to go. Now we're back underway. Golden Eagles showing full court pressure once again. Caraway gets the ball inbounds to Sims. Sims will bring it to the front court. Guarded by Munson. Now over to Semple. Semple looking inside to Conrad. He gets it to him. Guarded by Richard. Now back out to Semple. Parker straight away three-pointer. No good. Richard high for the rebound. Gets it over to Semple. Trimble quickly bringing it to the front court. Gets up to Munson. Looking for quick offense, but again, Chico State is back on defense. Golden Eagles have to reset. Now Tillman gets in low to Richard at the free throw line. Now over to Munson, wide open for three on the corner. No good, not close, an air ball. Now Semple, 4 Golden Eagles are back. Fakes the drive, kicks off to Sims. Munson picks him up. Now Chico State will reset. Boy, 6-0. We're almost 6 minutes into this one. Points hard to come by. Conrad puts it up and puts it in over Richard. Created space there with the off arm. Makes it 8-0. Now Munson gets over to Tillman. Tillman looking inside to Richard, gets it back to Munson. Once again, swinging around the perimeter. Trimble whips it over, nobody there, over the head of Richard, out of bounds. Dreadful start for the Golden Eagles. They need this media timeout. 13:58 to go in this first half. Chico State pitching a shutout right now, up 8-0 over Cal State LA on the Cal State LA Athletics Network.
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't.
Yuh-huh.
Nuh-uh.
Yuh-huh.
Okay, what are you guys doing?
We're trying to decide if dibs beats I saw it first does.
Wait, what?
Well, there's only one double-double left for our lunch meeting, and I saw it first.
No.
Therefore, it's mine.
No, I called dibs,
Yes,
which
so
means the
beats dibs.
double-double
No.
should go to me. It's in the rule book.
Nuh-uh.
Yuh-huh.
Nuh-uh.
Yuh-huh.
Yeah, well, you dress funny.
I'm telling.
Oh, yeah?
Okay, children, listen, there's only one way to handle this.
Staring contest.
No, rock, paper, scissors.
No, boys, the only grown-up way to handle this is for... Whoa! Hang on, you guys! What is that over there?
What?
Where? Hey, where's she going?
Dude, I think she just took the last double-double.
That's so hot.
Yuh-huh.
There's a fight. I get it. No, dibs!
For the in-and-out nearest you, call toll-free 1-800-786-1000.
13:58 to go in the first half. Both teams off to a slow offensive start, but the Golden Eagles are just off to, quite frankly, a pathetic start offensively. They have not scored a point in over 6 minutes. Chico State is struggling also, but they have the first 8 points of the game. Chico State's a very good outside shooting team. They shoot 36% from three-point range. They haven't been able to knock those down so far. Boy, if they get those going, the Golden Eagles could really be in trouble here. As Caraway gets the ball in the front court to Parker. It's knocked away by Trimble. Tries to deflect it off Parker, but it goes out of bounds and will stay with Chico State. 30 seconds on the shot clock. Wildcats have 5 seconds to get the ball across half court. Of course, they're about at the midcourt line as Sims gets it in the front court. Gets over to Parker. Now Semple posting up on Camper. Conrad cuts back door. Now Semple has the ball above the three-point line, dumps it into Conrad, backs in on Richard. Double team comes from Watkins, leaving Parker wide open for three, and he knocks it down. Boy, an ill-advised double team there by Watkins. Richard had him, and that left Parker wide open for three, so sure enough, Wildcats hit their first three, and it's 11-0. Watkins looking to go around a screen, gets off to Trimble. Trimble in low to Richard off his leg. I'm not sure if that was supposed to go to Camper or Richard. Now Sims the other way, puts it up and puts it in. Coach Thompson wanting another timeout. Boy, he's going to need a whole host of them at this rate. 13:07 remaining. Cal State LA off to their worst start of the season, up 13-0 on the Cal State LA Athletics Network.
What you gained as a student will be just as important to you as what you did as a player. As long as you know that you made the effort to do the best of which you're capable, there's no failure. Success on three.
There are over 400,000 NCAA student athletes. And just about all of us will be going pro in something other than sports.
.13:07 remaining. Cal State LA looking for their first points of the game. They will score before the end of this one, trust me. I hope. They have Singer, Trimble, Camper, Tillman coming back into the game along with Quentin Watkins. So Trimble will bring it in the front court. Stephen Thompson looking for some kind of offensive combination that will produce points. Watkins was the offensive threat last year. We'll see if he can get it going. Now Camper back to Watkins. Watkins fakes the three, drives instead. Around Conrad, shoots and lays it in. There we go. Throw off the streamers. They get on the scoreboard. Yay, 13-2. So Quentin Watkins breaks the seal as Sims gets into the front court off to Caraway. Now Parker. Knocked away by Watkins and stolen off the Singer. So a good defense there by Watkins. Quickly Tillman the other way. Camper's back, but three Wildcats already. Goes underneath, lays it up and in. Nice play by Tillman. Might have taken an extra step, but boy, great play by Tillman to weave his way through the defenders for his first basket to make it 13-4. Now Parker in the front court. Gets over to Caraway. Shoots for three, no good. Caraway, a very good three-point shooter. Now Watkins the other way. Looking to push, so the pace picking up here for Cal State LA. Trimble, long three-pointer, about a 25-footer, no good. Sims with the ball. Boy, you don't want that when you're struggling to score points. Sims for three, no good. So the pace picking up here. Trimble in the front court. 5 Chico State players are back. Trimble almost loses the ball. Gets underneath the Camper. Camper, 2 defenders. Shot rejected by Conrad. Remember, Camper can't get up very high. Losing the ball out of bounds is Semple. So it'll go back to Cal State LA, a break there. So Mike Rosa-Rosso, number 31, checks in for Chico State. Along with number 34, Drew Kitchens. So Trimble inbounding the ball. Off to Singer. In low to Tillman. Fall away 12-footer is good. Nice shot by Tillman. So Tillman getting his offensive game going after his worst offensive game of the year last game. 13-6 is the score. Of course, he's the Golden Eagles' leading scorer on the year, averaging 16 points a game. Third in the conference. As that ball goes out of bounds, that will go back to Cal State LA. So the tide is finally starting to turn as number 41, Jordan Barton, comes in for the Wildcats, a 6'7" sophomore from Oakland. So Chico State starting to bring in fresh bodies to try and keep this momentum going, but Cal State LA looking to get back in this game as Trimble gets over to Singer. Watkins cuts back door. Camper posted up. Now Watkins with the ball. Watkins drives baseline, gets over to Camper, gets hit in the eye. Gets it back out to Watkins, pulls up for three in front of the Chico State bench, no good. Caraway gets the rebound. Boy, Camper got hit on the eye last possession. He was lucky to get it to Watkins. Now Semple. Camper kind of favoring that eye, you could see it. Now it's over to Rosa-Rosso. Now Caraway gets it back to Rosa-Rosso. Plenty of time on the shot clock. Semple around a screen, pulls up for a two-shot, rejected by Trimble. Great play by Willie Trimble to block the taller player. Now Tillman, jump stop underneath, puts it up, shot no good, gets his own rebound, puts that up and puts it in. So Tillman has taken upon himself to single-handedly get the Golden Eagles back in this game, and he has. It's 13-8. Now full court pressure, the ball in the front court to Semple. Whip dangerously cross court to Rosa, almost loses it. In low to Caraway, puts it in, and he's fouled. Foul will be on Quentin Watkins. Boy, tough break there after some good defense. Last couple trips down. So Richard will check back in for the Golden Eagles along with Munson. Sims checks back in for Chico State. Caraway will go to the line. Chico State is a very good free throw shooting team on the year. Caraway is 72% from the line. As a team, the Wildcats shoot 74%. That's one of the top marks in the conference. Number 22, James Stanlin, comes in for the Wildcats for his first appearance, 6'7" senior from Ventura. So the free throw makes it 16-8. Munson brings it into the front court. Now Singer gets it over to Trimble. Richard posted up. Now Tillman gets it to the free throw line to Richard. Out to Trimble. Trimble gets over to Munson. 12 seconds on the shot clock. Munson weaves his way underneath. Tries to go around Barton. He gets the shot blocked. 6 seconds on the clock. Now to Richard. Trimble with Forrest to pull up for a desperation three and knocks it down at the end of the shot clock. Big shot by Willie Trimble for his first basket of the game to make it 16-11. Now Rosa on the back court. Golden Eagles picking up full court again. Ball deflected, stolen by Trimble. Trimble over to Tillman. Back to Trimble. Trying to get to Richard. He couldn't find him. Richard being guarded by Barton. Boy, Richard back door wide open. They didn't see him. He cuts to the basket. He's got a dunk if they want to lob it. Now he gets the ball. Gets it into Tillman. Tillman high off the glass. It didn't hit the rim. Barton gets the rebound. Rosa again double teamed. Now Singer backs off. Boy, I don't know why he backed off. They had Rosa trapped. Now he has it in the back court. In the front court. Gets it off to Stanlin. Three-pointer. Air ball. That was by Kitchens. Munson coming the other way. And a foul is called. An offensive foul on Singer. Boy, knocking over Barton. I didn't see quite what happened, but tough break there. Cal State LA. That'll give the ball back to Chico State, but it'll take us to the media timeout. 8:31 remaining in this first half. Chico State is leading Cal State LA 16-11 on the Cal State LA Athletics Network.
Sierra Acura of Alhambra has the benefit of my family's over 80 years experience in the automotive industry. We can honestly say that there is no better time than now to purchase or lease a new or pre-owned vehicle at Sierra Acura of Alhambra. We have a terrific inventory of new and pre-owned vehicles, but more importantly, we have an experienced and knowledgeable staff to guide you with the luxury treatment you should expect as an Acura customer. Get the value you deserve at Sierra Acura of Alhambra. With 80 plus years of experience behind us, we know how.
To laugh, and when the sun is out, I've got something I can laugh about.
Wherever you've been, whatever you've been through, we've got a warm welcome waiting for you. And that is only the beginning. Doubletree by Hilton, where the little things mean everything.
8:31 remaining in this first half. Cal State LA did not score a point for the first 7+ minutes of the game. If you're just joining us, they fell behind Chico State 11-0. They then proceeded, mainly thanks to James Tillman, score all 11 of their points here in about the last 3.5 minutes. So that's cut the deficit to 16-11. This is as close as the Golden Eagles have been since that 11-0 deficit to open up the game. An offensive foul was called on Solomon Singer after the Golden Eagles got a rebound. Tough break, so Sims will inbound the ball. Gets to Parker. Tough running, 12-footer, no good. Mark Wilson into the game gets the rebound. So an appearance from Mark Wilson. Coach Thompson trying to find offense anywhere he can. Tillman lays it up and lays it in. So Tillman running to the basket and getting easy baskets for himself. 16-13. He's got 8 of the Golden Eagles' 13 points. Now Kitchens. Wilson picks him up. Now Sims out near the half-court line, guarded by Munson. Trimble still out there also. along with Tillman, Munson, and Richard. In low, Barton. Shot rejected by Richard, so there's a block by Jordan Richard. Sends it out of bounds. Denied Barton. Semple will come back in. Kitchens will sit down. So now inbounding the ball will be Sims. Out to Parker. Parker nowhere to go. Willie Trimble right on him. 6 seconds on the shot clock. Now 5. Sims with 4. See if they know it. 2. 1 second. Gets off a running 10-footer. Referee said he did not get it off. A little bit of a late whistle there. The ball didn't, he did get it off. The ball didn't hit the rim. That's why the shot clock violation. So good defense there by Cal State LA. For Chico State, that's their 6th turnover. So Munson will bring it up, looking to cut this to a 1-point deficit or tie the game. Back door to Tillman. Nice pass there. Tillman lays it up, lays it in. Nice pass by Trimble. Trimble, one of the leading assist men in the CCAA, proved it there with a very nice pass to Tillman. Underneath shot missed by Simple. He missed a little bunny, and Tillman gets the rebound. So Golden Eagles looking to push it up. Believe it or not, looking to get the lead. Now Trimble wide open for 3 on the wing. In and out. Tough break. Oh. But losing it out of bounds was Stanlin, so that's a break for Cal State LA. They'll get the ball back as Conrad checks back in. Caraway checks back in for the Wildcats also. Trimble will inbound the ball on the baseline. Now Munson gets the ball high above the three-point line. Wilson now has it. Wilson's instant offense. We'll see if he can get any shots here. Now Trimble. In low to Tillman. Pull up 15-footer at the free throw line. Off the back heel, no good. So first shot Tillman's missed in a while. Now Sims the other way. Maybe a little bit out of his range right now, as all his shots have seemed to come within about 5 feet. Now Parker dribbling right in front of the Cal State LA bench, guarded by Trimble. Trimble is hounding him big time. Now Conrad on Richard. He passes it instead. Simple thinks better of the drive. Good defense by the Golden Eagles. They've really picked it up here. Now Sims. In low to Conrad. Pick and roll. Shot rejected, but a foul. I believe on Tillman. So Conrad rolled, and Cal State LA was late to pick him up. And the foul is on Tillman. That's his first foul. Boy, the Golden Eagles want to keep him out of foul trouble. He has been the catalyst for this comeback. Conrad, even though he's a 7-footer, he's a very good free throw shooter. He makes that one. Singer comes back in for Cal State LA, so Tillman will get a rest. Conrad, an 83% free throw shooter on the year, 25 of 30. So that's very impressive for someone his size. In case you cared, he's the tallest player in Chico State history as he makes a second free throw. And that makes it 18 to 15. So a 3-point lead for the Wildcats. Now Singer in the front court. Gets to Munson. Now Munson gives it over to Trimble. Trimble over to Singer. Singer looking for someone to give it to. Richard asking for it. Singer instead goes around him. Gives it off to Mark Wilson. 10 on the clock. Wilson spinning every which way. Pull up 15-footer. Doesn't draw iron. Ball goes through the legs of Richard off to Trimble. Pulls up for 3. No good. Wilson high for the rebound. Tries to put up a shot from the seat of his pants. Doesn't get it. And then Singer misses a putback there. Boy, the Golden Eagles with several chances. Tough break. Now Parker gets it over to Caraway, who loses the ball. Gets it back. Sloppy basketball right now. Parker in the corner for 3. Knocks it down. So after all that, they get a 3-pointer from Parker. For his 6th point, make it 21 to 15. Now Munson. Chico State still only 2 of 9 from long range in the game. Trimble looking for someone to give it to around the back. Gives it off to Munson. Richard on the opposite side. 8 seconds on the shot clock. Munson around the screen. Pulls up for a 3 straight away. No good. Richard high for the rebound. Tough break. It hit the wire above the backboard. So that means it's out of bounds because Richard was right there for a putback, but it nullifies the putback. And that takes us to immediate timeout. 4:58 remaining in this first half. Cal State LA is trailing 21-15 to Chico State on the Cal State LA Athletics Network.
Girls with curls, I don't know about you, but my hair is crazy. Finally, it's time to stop hating your curls. I have to tell you about my new best friend, Mixed Chicks. Since I could hold a brush, I have been trying to tame my tresses. I never wore my hair curly. I had to use so many different products or I'd get frizz. Mixed Chicks has revolutionized curly hair. They are truly the only product designed for us. Whether you're black, white, Asian, Latin, Mediterranean, or any glorious combination of them all, Mixed Chicks is for you. Now all I need is Mixed Chicks and I have soft, sexy, defined curls that aren't heavy or sticky. Mixed Chicks is 100% vegan, completely affordable, and on Halle Berry's top must-have list. And the best news is now Mixed Chicks is available at Target. Soft, sassy, touchable curls are no longer out of reach. Pick up Mixed Chicks today at your neighborhood Target store or go to www.mixedchicks.net.
4:58 remaining in this first half. Cal State LA trailing 21-15. As I said earlier, Cal State LA, this is the first of a 6-game homestand. They play their next 6 games at the Eagles Nest. They play tomorrow night against Cal State Stanislaus. That'll be our next broadcast. They also play Humboldt State and Cal Poly Pomona here next weekend. They then play Cal State San Bernardino and UC San Diego the first couple days of February. But they do play 6 of their last 8 games on the road. So this is an important stretch for the Golden Eagles. Try and build some wins for that tough stretch late in the year. Semple underneath, dumps it off to Conrad. Shot missed, he missed the dunk. Richard was there to challenge it. Nice play there by Richard. Challenged the dunk and Conrad missed it. Now Munson gets over to Watkins. Watkins goes around a Tillman screen in the lane. Sees Conrad, runs right into him. Wild shot, no good. So Watkins trying to draw the foul, could not. Parker gets over to Caraway. Sims, you do not want to leave him open. Now Sims drives in the lane, kicks it out to Parker for 3, not close. Conrad with the real shot, rejected by Richard. So Conrad tried to fool Richard. And then underneath Caraway, oh, tough break there. Caraway went in for the layup. Richard was there, but Tillman defended the shot himself and fouled him. That's the second foul on Tillman. That's too bad because Richard was ready to defend the basket. So second foul on Tillman. We'll see if Stephen Thompson takes him out. 4:05 remaining in the first half. He certainly does not want him to get into foul trouble like he did in the last game. Caraway going back to the free throw line, where he made his only free throw. He rolls that one in. Chico State's only been on the line 4 times in the first half, but they've made them all. Cal State LA has not been to the free throw line in this half. Julian Camper coming in. Richard will sit down. That's interesting. So Tillman stays in the game. Jordan Richard takes a seat. Richard does not have a foul, so he's not sitting down because of foul trouble. As the second free throw is good. That makes it 23-15. Munson brings it to the front court. Now Singer gets over to Watkins. Ooh, guarded by Simple. Almost knocked away. Watkins gets it back. Now Singer. Golden Eagles once again slowing down on offense. Now Watkins over to Munson. Munson drives inside. Tries to throw it to Tillman. Tough pass. There's no way Tillman could have got that one. Goes straight out of bounds. So another turnover for Cal State LA. It's actually only their 5th of the first half, believe it or not. Chico State actually has 8. Once again, with their struggling offense, it just seems like they have more turnovers. Munson will sit down. Trimble back in the game. Yeah, it's full court pressure once again. 3.5 minutes to go. Chico State up by 8, and Sims with the ball in the front court. Now Caraway over to Conrad. Sims gets it in low to Caraway. Caraway backing in on Singer. Underneath to Conrad. Shot rejected by Richard. Loose ball goes off. Trimble fighting for it. He gets it. Off to Tillman. Tillman finally gets the ball after batting around. Goes around Conrad. Tillman puts it up, a little bank shot. No good. Ball knocked away. Goes out to Sims. 3-on-2 for Chico State. Trimble. Great play by Trimble. He anticipated where Sims was going to go, and Sims ran him over for an offensive foul. Great play by Willie Trimble there. as Camper will check back in for Cal State LA. Watkins also in. So 3 minutes to go in this first half. Cal State LA with only 15 points. See what they can do here. Remember, this game's similar in pace to the game against Cal State East Bay a couple weeks ago. The Golden Eagles only scored 16 in that first half. Three-pointer by Watkins is good. So maybe that'll get Watkins going finally. It's 5th point. Makes it 23-18. Parker the other way. Gets off the Simple. Now the Wildcats will reset. They seem content to play this slow-down half-court style. Golden Eagles trying to pick up the pace a little bit. Parker underneath puts it up and in. Boy, without Richard in there, Camper just did not defend the shot. And as soon as that happened, Richard looked like he was getting up ready to check back in, but he sits down now. So that makes it 25-18. Trimble in the front court. Can't give the ball to Tillman, gives it off to Watkins instead. Now Singer, double team, knocked away by Parker. Ahead to Sims, 2-on-0. Singer challenging the shot, but he puts it up and in. So good hustle by Singer, but it's still a basket by Sims. Gives Chico State a 9-point lead. So they're extending the lead once again after the Golden Eagles had cut it to 5. Now Watkins, three-pointer on the wing, knocks it down. So Quentin Watkins, 2 big threes to keep the Golden Eagles in the game. 27-21. Watkins can certainly get hot from long range. Of course, he can shoot the team out of it from long range also. It's Caraway, gets over to Semple. Now Sims gets over for a three-pointer, no good. Trimble with the rebound, has to save it. Saves it to Camper. Camper in low to Watkins. Watkins up and lays up and lays it in. Nice play by Watkins. Catch the ball in midair and lay it up and in all in one motion. Gives him 10 quick points, makes it 27-23 as we have 1 minute to go in the first half. Now Caraway gets it off to Parker. Parker guarded by Trimble. Parker looking to drive. Trimble right on top of him. Parker knocks the ball away. And it's saved. Oh, Camper looked like he could have gone for that. Boy, he just stood there. And Richard coming back in the game. Tillman will sit down with those 2 fouls. So Coach Thompson not wanting him to get the 3rd foul. Chico State will call a quick timeout. 48.1 seconds remaining in this first half. Chico State up 27-23 over Cal State LA.
Maybe it's where we're located, in the heart of Los Angeles. Maybe it's the pride of 20,000 students a year who know about our world-class programs, our award-winning faculty, and our dedicated staff. Maybe it's the promise of a rewarding career in nursing, education, science, media, or the humanities. Maybe you should find out why. A tradition of lifetime learning at Cal State LA.
48.1 seconds to go. Cal State LA trailing 27-23. Thanks to Quentin Watkins. They're on a bit of a run here after falling behind by 9. They've scored the last 5 points, all by Quentin Watkins. So 17 seconds on the shot clock. Sims will inbound the ball. So that was not a change of possession. Conrad calling for it. It goes to Semple instead. Semple puts up a fall-away 12-footer, knocks it down over Camper. 6 points for Semple, makes it 29-23. Shot clock is about 5 seconds ahead of the game clock. So we'll see if the Golden Eagles run it down. Trimble has the ball in the front court. Of course, they've been unintentionally running it down for a lot of this first half with the struggles on offense. Now Singer, backdoor right to Conrad, bad pass. And now Parker has it. Now Chico State off the turnover. They can hold to the last shot. Shot clock is off. 10 seconds to go. Caraway runs over Singer. Now Watkins with 6. Guarded by Watkins. Sims with 3 in low. Around Richard, no good. Fighting for the ball. It goes to Camper, and that'll end the half. So the Golden Eagles dodge a bullet there at the end of the half. But they do trail at halftime. So Chico State got off to a good start. The Golden Eagles got off to a very bad start offensively. As I said, they did not score for more than 7 minutes, trailing 11-0. They got back in the game, cutting it as close as 1 point. But they have not led this entire first half. Chico State extended the lead back out to 9, and it's now 6 at halftime. So we are at halftime here at the Eagles Nest. Cal State LA is trailing Chico State 29-23. I'll be back in a few minutes with first half stats and the beginning of the second half here on the Cal State LA Athletics Network.
Life of the Balance is how we distinguish ourselves from the other two divisions.
Presidents and chancellors from Division II institutions were talking about what was happening with Division II. Out of that initial summit emerged a consensus.
Our basic goals of how we want our students to develop and mature and the kinds of experiences we think that are valuable for them were really reflected in what the strategic positioning platform of Division II encourages.
It's united our membership.
This is my 14th year in Division II, and our platform has been one of the best things that have ever happened to Division II. We've defined who we are.
I see it in our student athletes who really sort of swell their chests up and are really proud of who they are and what they do.
I talk about our student athlete experience at Division II, about being really, truly life in the balance.
The administration and the presidents have done a good job saying there will be balance. You can have your 3 hours a day, but after that, they're mine or they're the faculty members.
We have to make sure that every student athlete has a broad experience in terms of academic opportunity, career opportunity, commitment to the community, understanding who they are, growing up, and being good competitors athletics.
I want our student athletes to be involved in student government. I want our student athletes to participate in the music programs that we have on campus, in the theater programs, in the student organizations such as Students in Free Enterprise. That, to me, is life in the balance. It's not just academics and athletics.
Many of our student athletes are leaders on campus. They take the initiative for community engagement projects.
We've all heard the cliche that most of the learning, occurs outside of the classroom. Well, that's the social aspect. That's the social responsibility aspect.
One of the great things about Division II is your proximity to the action. You're right there. You're not going to be in nosebleed seats. Conversely, you hear a lot more and you see a lot more. And so we have a responsibility to our fans, not only to put on a good product on the floor, but one that mom and dad feel good about with their son or daughter with them.
It is a balanced program of academics, athletics, and community outreach.
25% of our student athletes receive no athletics aid at all.
The partial scholarship model actually allows a lot more students to participate in athletics as scholarship athletes. But it says to the students, you're partially an athlete, you're partially a scholar.
It allows students who would not otherwise have an opportunity to go to college to do so.
Spirit of Division II, it's students first and student success first. I'm always reminded that Miles Brand used to say that we're an educational association, not a sports association. And I think we really took that to heart at Division II.
I believe that we have an opportunity to create in Division II a vision that the Knight Commission has been talking about for a long time, about the appropriate role of intercollegiate athletics.
Life in the Balance gives students the flexibility to make choices. It was a spark and then a slow fire, and now it's igniting. And I really think it is across a lot of our campuses.
The idea is that every student athlete should have as full a possible life experience while an undergraduate as we can afford.
I'm the president of the University of Indianapolis.
President, West Texas A&M University.
And I chose
Division II.
And I chose Division II.
It is halftime here at the Eagles Nest, where Chico State is leading Cal State LA 29-23. Michael Nemitz back, and as far as first half stats, Chico State really led the way, but both teams struggled offensively. Chico State was led in scoring by Rashad Parker, who had 8 points. Jordan Semple and Jason Conrad both had 6. Mir Caraway had 5, and Demario Sims had 4. Interesting thing for Chico State, their bench did not score a point. All those points came from their starters, who played the majority of the minutes in the first half. For Cal State LA, they were led by 2 players, James Tillman, who had 10 points, also Quentin Watkins, who had 10 points. Tillman's points were in the early part of the first half, trying to dig the Golden Eagles out of an early 11-0 deficit, and Watkins' points were later in the first half to try and keep the Golden Eagles in the game, and he's the reason why they're only down 6 at halftime. They've scored 20 of the 23 points. Willie Trimble scored a 3-pointer. That's the only basket of the game that's been scored by either team's bench. Interesting note there. So it's been all the starters pretty much. And only 3 players have scored for Cal State LA. As far as the team stats go, Golden Eagles only shooting 31%. Chico State shooting 40% in the first half. Both teams struggling though. Chico State only 2 of 10 on threes. The Golden Eagles 3 of 10. And if you're a Cal State LA fan, you do not want your team shooting as many 3-pointers as Chico State. That is not their offense. Chico State out-rebounded the Golden Eagles 21-17. Chico State actually had more turnovers, 9-7. Points in the paint are about even, 16-14. So Cal State LA, who comes into this game tied for 5th place at 4-4, they're 7-5 overall, looking to move into a tie with Chico State for 4th. So this is a big game for them. Chico State 5-3 on the year. They're 8-4 overall. If the Golden Eagles lose this game, they could fall back in the pack because they're tied with Dominguez Hills and Cal State East Bay. Dominguez Hills is playing the opponent tomorrow night for the Golden Eagles, Cal State Stanislaus. So we'll see how that turns out. Cal State Stanislaus is only 1 game behind Cal State LA as it is at 3-5. So if you're not careful, if you let one weekend slide like this, you could really fall back in the conference, and it could do a lot of damage. As I said earlier, this is the first of a 6-game homestand. This is a stretch of 10 games where 8 of them are here at the Eagles Nest. Cal State LA so far has only gone 2-2 in that stretch. As I said at the beginning of the broadcast, if you weren't with me, they have split every weekend in conference this year with a win and a loss. That includes their first 2 games against Dominguez Hills they split. So that's why they have not been able to get past this 500 record. Of course, we'll see this weekend. The least they want is a split. But if you're going to get a game, tonight's game certainly is one you really want to get. Teams are back out on the court, and we're about ready to get underway. The Golden Eagles will have the same 5 that started the game. Chico State with their same 5 also. Watkins will inbound the ball, so hopefully we have an exciting finish to this one. As Watkins gets over to Munson, we're underway in the second half. Now Tillman back to Munson. Watkins calling for the ball. 3-pointer partially blocked by Semple. Tillman goes to the ball. It goes off the back of Parker. Break there for Cal State LA. They'll get the ball back with 20 seconds on the shot clock. So Tillman going for the loose ball. Bounced off the back of Parker, who's fallen out of bounds. That's why it goes to Cal State LA. Now Watkins gives out to Munson, and Golden Eagles will run some offense here. Not a lot of time. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Now Watkins gets the pass. Sims is on him. He goes around a screen, gets off to Tillman. Tillman driving inside. Underneath, lays up and lays it in around Conrad. Nice play by Tillman to get it around the 7-footer. For his 12th point, makes it 29-25. Now getting bumped is Caraway above the 3-point line. Guarded by Singer. Players cutting back door. Sims has the ball. Goes around a screen. Solomon Singer picks him up. Follow a 10-footer, no good. Conrad high for the rebound, but he went over the back of Richard to try and get it, so he gets the foul. So first team foul of the second half. That's only a second foul on Conrad. Excuse me, first foul. No, that is the second foul, I believe, on Conrad. There weren't many fouls called in the first half. Interestingly enough, only 4 on Cal State LA and 3 on Chico State. Now Watkins gets over to Tillman. Tough pass. Underneath to Richard. Puts it up, no basket. Put it up after the push. That's on Conrad. He's got another quick foul. And the foul's on Caraway instead, so that's his first foul. Now Singer gets into Watkins, thinks better of the three. And he'll slow it down, run the offense instead. Now Tillman, boy, wide open. He didn't know how open he was. Gets out to Munson. Pulls up for a 16-footer, no good. Singer fighting for the rebound. Tillman has it. Gets knocked away and goes to Caraway. Tough break there. Sims quickly coming the other way up to Semple. Whips across court to Parker. Pulls up for three on the wing, no good. Watkins gets the rebound. See if the Golden Eagles can push it early here. Now Watkins will slow it down. So it seems like the game has slowed down even more into a half-court pace if possible. Now Tillman, jump stop in the lane, wild shot, no good. It goes way out to Sims, it was deflected. Sims looking to drive, ball knocked away by Munson, gets off to Semple, and Chico State will reset. Now Caraway gets over to Semple. Spin move underneath, shot rejected by Richard. Great block there by Richard to come across and get it before it hit the backboard. Now Watkins gets over to Munson, in low to Richard, out to Watkins. Watkins fakes the shot, goes inside, drives underneath, lays it up, lays it in, an offensive foul. So they say Parker was outside that restricted area. Tough break there, was a nice move by Watkins. So that's a second foul on Watkins. Watkins is the second Golden Eagle player with 2 fouls. Of course, Tillman had 2 in the first half. Now Caraway in the front court. Goes into Richard. Boy, he created the contact, but I believe they're going to call the foul on Richard. He bowled right into him. Richard went down hard. He is having to take some time before he gets up. So that's only the first foul on Richard. He was looking to block that shot. Caraway went right into his chest. But he'll get the 2 free throws. Caraway's made all 3 of his free throws in the first half. Free throw is good. As I said, Chico State, a very good free throw shooting team. Caraway is their leading scorer on the year, averaging about 10.5 points a game. Chico State with a very balanced scoring attack. They have 6 players that average between 7 and 10 points per game. No player averages more than Caraway's 10.5. As far as team scoring, both teams score the same number of points per game. Golden Eagles and Chico State both score 69 points a game. And they both give up about the same too, so really mirror images of each other, as Trimble has it in the front court. Now Trimble looking for somewhere to go. Gives off to Watkins finally. Watkins above the three-point line. Looking to go around a Tillman screen. Instead loses the ball on the dribble. Boy, high dribble by Sims. Goes underneath, lays it up and lays it in. And I believe a foul too. So Sims did not get going in the first half at all. Trimble with the foul. So Sims looking to complete the three-point play and give Chico State an 8-point lead. Golden Eagle fans certainly do not want to see Sims get going. Free throw is no good. Richard with the rebound. Sims only averages 9 points a game this year. Now Watkins looking inside to Tillman. Gets it over to Trimble. Trimble, a little running 8-footer over Conrad is good. Nice little shot there by Trimble. Makes it 32-27. 16:25 remaining in the second half. Now Caraway in the front court, off to Conrad, who dunks it in. Jordan Richard was not back. He was defending the ball handler and forgot about Conrad. 8 points for Conrad, makes it 34-27. Now Trimble in the front court, gets over to Watkins. Boy, Watkins has a driving lane, look like, but it closed up. Now Trimble gets it into Tillman. Tough pass, he got it somehow. Tillman, 2 defenders on him. Tried to go around Conrad, and Conrad stripped the ball. Now knocked away by Dribble underneath to Parker. Parker puts it up and puts it in. So 2 straight baskets for Chico State makes it 36-27, and Stephen Thompson has seen enough. 15:41 remaining in the second half. Cal State LA will have to regroup on the Cal State LA Athletics Network.
The NCAA Division II student-athlete experience goes beyond the classrooms and playing fields. It means a commitment to service and community, helping organizations like the Make-A-Wish Foundation by raising money to help grant the wishes of children with life-threatening medical conditions. Kids like Jacob.
Some student-athletes gave of their time and their energy to raise the money.
It was fun to meet the court.
NCAA Division II, training student-athletes for lifelong achievement.
I love learning.
I believe in service. I am full of passion. I embody sportsmanship.
I trust in my resourcefulness. I like balance.
That's why I chose
Division II.
15:41 remaining in the second half. Both teams off to a slow start offensively in the second half. Just like the beginning of the game, Chico State outscored the Golden Eagles 7-4 so far in the second half. Solomon Singer inbounding the ball. Trimble will bring it in the front court. Watkins calling for the ball and gets it. So the same 5 that were out there are still out there for Cal State LA. Now Watkins spin move at the free throw line, gets it off to Tillman. Poor spacing. Watkins wide open for 3 straight away. Knocks it down. Another big basket by Quentin Watkins. He has 13 points, makes it 36-30. Now Sims in the back court. Gets it off to Stanilin, who checked back in. Now Semple. Barton also in for Chico State. Stanilin off the screen, wide open for 3. Rolls around, no good. Richard fighting for the rebound. Goes to Semple. Shot rejected by Richard. Barton. Now Semple has it. Little off arm, pull up 10-footer is good. Lose the off arm to create a little space there and then made the jumper. 8 points for Semple. Now Watkins gets it to Tillman. Tillman double teamed underneath the Singer. He lost the ball. And it goes out of bounds. And boy, that's a tough break. That might have gone to Cal State LA if Singer hadn't touched it. But Chico State will get the ball when we come back from this media timeout. 14:34 remaining, second half. We'll see if Cal State LA can get back into this one. Down 38-30 on the Cal State LA Athletics Network.
Welcome to the Pepsi Refresh Project. This year we're giving millions to fund ideas that will refresh the world. Your ideas, voted on by the public. Here's how it works. Submit your ideas at refresheverything.com for a chance to win a Pepsi Refresh grant. Ideas can be submitted in 6 categories: health and fitness, arts and culture, neighborhoods, the planet, education, food and shelter. Vote for ideas you care about at refresheverything.com and help them become a reality. Everyone can vote for up to 10 ideas each day. Help promote good ideas using our Facebook and Twitter tools. The ideas with the most votes will receive a Pepsi Refresh grant to make them happen. So could a soda really make the world a better place? With your help, it will. What do you care about? Join the Pepsi Refresh Project. Thousands of ideas, millions in grants. Every Pepsi refreshes the world.
One love, one blood, one people. Golden Eagles down by 8. We actually have a pretty good crowd tonight, even though you may not be able to tell on video. It's because the video camera is on the side of the court where most of the crowd is. If you see the far side of the court, there aren't many fans on that side. Most of the fans are on the near side where I'm located, or where the camera's located, high above center court here. So there is a pretty good crowd, and they're seeing the Golden Eagles struggling right now. As Semple has it in the front court, gets it off to Barton. Now over to Sims. Sims loses the ball. Gets it in the back court. They say it was deflected. Sims already shot. Rejected by Richard. So Richard piling up the blocks now. Tillman quickly the other way. 3 Wildcats back. Munson goes inside and gets hammered and will go to the line. So Jordan Richards starting to pile up those blocks. He has 6 now in the game, above his season average of 4.7. Remember, he had the school record last year in blocks with 75. He's well on his way to that this year. He's got almost 60 right now, I believe, as the free throw is good by Munson. So that's Munson's first point of the game. He was 0 for 5 from the floor, 0 for 3 from downtown. So Singer will sit down. Camper will come in for Cal State LA. Munson looking to cut it to 6. Off the rim, no good. Those were the first free throws of the game for Cal State LA. So 38-31. Rosa Rosso comes back in for the Wildcats. Now Stanley on the weave to Semple, guarded by Tillman. Pull up long two-pointer is good by Parker. He was looking back thinking it was a 3, but he was inside the line, makes it 40-31. 12 points for Parker. Now Watkins around a camper screen, gets over to Munson. Back to Watkins, straight away, pulls up for 3 and knocks it down. Boy, gutsy shot by Quentin Watkins. Felt like he had the hot hand, and he's been knocking down threes. Makes it 40-34. Now Stanley pulls up for a 17-footer, no good. Richard high for the rebound. Score is 40-34. The scoreboard is not correct right now, so it's 39. Now Tillman pulls up for a 17-footer, no good. Richard, oh, he was there, but the ball hit the rim. Tough break. That did not hit the rim. Richard would have been there for the follow, and he had to lay off it and lost the rebound because of it. Semple wide open for 3, no good. Richard boxed up for the rebound. It goes to Camper. Camper brings it to Munson. Golden Eagles looking to push, but all 5 Wildcat defenders are back. Tillman cutting back door, goes to the three-point line. As Munson takes his eye off the ball, and Parker strips it. And the foul, looked like they were signaling the foul was on Parker, but I believe they called it on Munson. That's what the scorer's table is saying, that they looked like he signaled 11, like the foul was on Parker, but it was actually on Munson after he lost the ball. So that is a turnover for Cal State LA. That's the 4th team foul this half for the Golden Eagles, 3 for Chico State, so the fouls are picking up a bit. As the referees discuss the foul, and Caraway will inbound the ball. I believe the officials discussing that the foul was, and actually maybe they're discussing the score because it still shows 39-34 on the scoreboard. It's actually 40-34. That's probably what they're discussing, as Rosa Rosso gets over to Caraway. Now Semple over to Parker. Munson picks him up. Parker drives the lane, loses the ball. Luckily bounces to Caraway. Fall away, 13-footer is good. Boy, break there for Chico State. And the score I have is 42-34. That's not the score on the scoreboard, so we shall see. Now Tillman underneath the Camper. Camper, the three-point line. He didn't want to be there. Tillman was calling for it. Munson kicks out to Watkins. Hot man, wide open 3, knocks it down. So Quentin Watkins with his 5th three-pointer of the game. He's got 19 points. He's single-handedly keeping Cal State LA in this game, 41-37. Breakout game for Quentin Watkins. Now Parker goes outside, kicks it out. Rosa Rosso goes over Richard, puts it up and in. Impressive move to get it over the shot blocker by Rosa Rosso. So Quentin Watkins is closing in on his career high, which was 21 points. He had that twice last year. Now Camper gets it underneath. Up and under move, puts up, blows the layup. Oh, he made a nice move and a penny finish. Boy, that's a tough break. Watkins already with a season high with 19 points. Now Rosa Rosso gets over to Semple. And stolen by Munson. Great play, step in front of the pass. Munson gets hammered and fouled. So Munson will go to the line to shoot 2. Tough break there. It looked like it was uncontested. The foul is on Parker this time. So Munson will go to the line. Munson, who's already been to the line, made 1 of 2 free throws. He has the only 2 free throw attempts of the game for the Golden Eagles. Now 2 more here as he rolls that free throw in. Of course, the Golden Eagles really struggle from the line on the year, only shooting 61%. Munson's a 63% or so, just about at that average. Solomon Singer back in for Cal State LA, giving Richard a break. Second free throw is good. So 2 big makes there by Munson, makes it 44 to 39. Well, like I said, the scoreboard is different from what I have, so I'm going to go with what I have right now, which is 44 to 39. Of course, it would be fortunate for Cal State LA if the score on the scoreboard was right. Caraway pulls up for 3. No good. I don't believe it is, though. Tillman coming the other way. Now Munson gets it to Tillman. Tillman off to Singer. Now Watkins. Back behind the back pass to Singer. Lays it up in the knees. Fouled. Great play by Watkins. Behind the back pass, and Singer finished it off. So that cuts it to 3. Singer will look to cut it to 2. So Solomon Singer with his first basket of the game in 22 minutes. Looking to cut this to a 2-point game. And he does. So that makes it 44 to 42. Rosarosa in the front court off to Semple. Now Rosarosa off to Sims. Fans calling for defense. Sims guarded by Munson. Goes around Munson. Loses the ball out of bounds. Oh, off Munson. I thought Sims might have just lost it. Well, that'll take us to a timeout on the floor. Maybe they'll square the score away around when we get back. 9:57 remaining in the second half. As far as I know, don't go by the scoreboard. Chico State is leading 44 to 42 on the Cal State LA Athletics Network.
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't.
Yuh-huh.
Nuh-uh.
Yuh-huh.
Okay, what are you guys doing?
We're trying to decide if dibs beats I saw it first does.
Wait, what?
Well, there's only one double-double left for our lunch meeting, and I saw it first.
No,
therefore it's mine.
No, I called dibs,
Yes,
which means the double-double should go to me. It's in the rule book.
Nuh-uh.
Yuh-huh.
Nuh-uh.
Yuh-huh.
You dress funny.
I'm
telling.
Okay, children, listen, there's only one way to handle this.
Staring contest.
No, rock, paper, scissors. Rock, paper,
scissors.
No, boys, the only grown-up way to handle this is for... Whoa! Hang on, you guys! What is that over there?
What?
Where? Hey, where's she going?
Dude, I think she just took the last double-double.
That's so hot.
Yeah-huh.
There's a fight. I get it.
No, dibs!
For the in-and-out nearest you, call toll-free 1-800-786-1000.
9:57 remaining in this second half. I've gone back in the scoring to look at it, and I'm pretty sure I'm right, even though Cal State LA fans would hope I'm not. The score was 43 to 42, but it is 44 to 42 Chico State. They're discussing it at the scorers table, having a big powwow, discussing what to do with the score. As Chico State will inbound the ball, Semple, Conrad, big 7-footer back out there, as inbounding the ball to Sims. Only 10 seconds on the shot clock, off to Caraway. Up and undershot, no good, blows the layup. Singer gets the loose ball and loses it out of bounds. Tough break there. Boy, good defense. And Singer just couldn't hang on to the ball. So Julian Camper's still out there for Cal State LA, along with Tillman, Singer, Watkins, and Munson. Inbounding the ball is Rosaroso for Chico State into Semple. Semple now swung around in the corner to Caraway. Caraway is bumped and fouled by Singer. So the team fouls are building up. That's 5 team fouls in Cal State LA. Chico State also has 5. So the ball will be inbounded. Now Caraway gets off to Semple. Full shot clock for Chico State, so plenty of time. Pull up for 3, no good. Tillman with the rebound. Underneath, lays it up and lays it in. Nice play by Tillman. Get this one back even at 44. Golden Eagles have never led. Now Sims with Munson right on him. Now Caraway, ball knocked away by Tillman, gets back to Semple. Now Rosaroso driving on Watkins. Underneath the basket, he can't go anywhere. Comes back out the other side and gets it off to Sims. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Ball knocked away by Munson. Sims has it again with 7. Now with 6. Sims with 5. Throws it to no one in particular. Underneath, ball knocked away, stolen by Singer. Ahead to Munson if he can chase it down, and he does. Now off to Watkins. Watkins gets it over to Singer. Golden Eagles will reset. Approaching 8.5 minutes to go in this one. Golden Eagles with the ball, looking for the first lead of the game. Now Munson over to Singer. Tillman at the free throw line. Underneath, nice pass to Watkins. Lays it up and lays it in. So Watkins, off the nice pass from Singer, ties his career high with 21 points. Gives the Golden Eagles their first lead of the game, 46-44. Chico State will call a timeout. Coach Greg Klink has seen enough. 8:14 to go in the second half. Don't go anywhere. You should be in for an exciting finish. Cal State LA is leading 46-44 on the Cal State LA Athletics Network.
The California Collegiate Athletic Association. 12 public institutions, 12 sports venues, 11 championships each year. A Division II conference born in 1939, the CCAA is holder of an unprecedented 149 national championships. From the redwoods of Northern California to the sunny beaches in the South, student-athletes who compete in the CCAA also contribute in the community through programs such as the Student Athlete Advisory Committee and excel in the classroom, with 453 earning CCAA All-Academic Honors in 2010. The CCAA, a proud member of NCAA Division II.
8:14 remaining in the second half. They're still discussing at the scorer's table about the score. Scoreboard has it one way if you're just joining us, and I believe they're going to call the teams to the benches to straighten this out. Because for the longest time, they've had Chico State with 43 points, and I believe they actually have 44. It's kind of compounded by the fact Chico State hasn't scored a point in over 3 minutes. So that 43 has been up there a long time. I believe what happened, though, is when it was 40-31 Chico State, Quentin Watkins made a 3-point basket, and at first the scoreboard put it up like Chico State had scored the basket, and then when they subtracted those points and put the points to Cal State LA, they subtracted a point from Chico State accidentally, and they never added it back on. So I believe that it showed Chico State with 39 points, when in reality they had 40 points. And then ever since then, the score has just stayed that way. And finally, the score has been corrected, so it took several minutes, but they did get it right. The score has been corrected, so the correct score, as I've been saying, is on the scoreboard, 46-44. So it's finally official, as Sims has it in the backcourt. I believe there's a wet spot on the floor. That's what Sims was pointing out. So they're going to have to wipe up that wet spot. 8:09 remaining. So this has been a tough contest. Boy, defense has ruled the day here, and we expected that with two of the top 5 defensive scoring teams in the country, both averaging 57 points a game. Given up. They both score 69. So you'd expect a close game from two very similar composed teams. As Tillman back in the game, steals the ball. Great play there. Kitchens fouls him. Boy, if they had the breakaway foul like they have in the NBA, that's what Coach Thompson's calling for, an intentional foul. They might be discussing that. They do have an intentional foul. In the NBA, it would be a breakaway foul, but in college, you can call an intentional foul if the man is grabbed with no one between him and the basket. And instead, they're just going to call a regular foul. Boy, that's a tough break. It looked like he was free and clear there. So first foul, the foul was called on Kitchens. So it's just the 6th foul, so the Golden Eagles will inbound it instead. Tough break there. Trimble lobs it back door. Not a good pass. Not nearly high enough. Parker, the Sims shot rejected by Trimble. They call a foul instead. Boy, clean block. That foul couldn't have been on Trimble. It must have been on Munson, and it was. So too bad. After the great block by Tillman, the foul's on Munson. That's his 2nd. So Sims will go to the line looking to kickstart his night. He's only had 6 points so far on 3 of 8 shooting in 25 minutes. Sims makes the free throw. Semple checks back in for the Wildcats. Quentin Watkins comes in for Cal State LA after a rest. Trimble will take a seat. So a 73% free throw shooter on the year, Sims, rolls out the second free throw. So the Golden Eagles still have the lead, 46-45. Munson brings it into the front court. Now Singer. Looking inside, gets inside to Camper. And he misses the layup. Boy, tough defense there. After that, Jordan Richard getting ready to check back in at the scores table. Underneath, up and in by Parker, around Tillman. So Chico State once again with the lead, 47-46. So after the Golden Eagles had gotten the lead for the first time in the game, Chico State scored the last 3 points to go back ahead. Now Munson gets it to Tillman. Tillman pull up 17-footer, not even close. Singer gets the rebound. Shot blocked. It's whipped out to Munson. Straight away three-pointer, no good. He didn't have to shoot it. There was still plenty of time on the shot clock. Loose ball goes off to Sims, gets out to Caraway. Caraway gets over to Semple. Chico State trying to push it. Underneath shot is an air ball. Conrad gets the loose ball, and a foul is called late on Camper. Well, that was a late whistle. 6:45 remaining. So he'll be coming out with Richard at the scorer's table. So Conrad will go back to the line. As I said earlier, he's a very good free throw shooter. He made his only 2 free throws earlier in the game. And he rolls around that one and out, so maybe a little bit of a jinx. Rosa Rosso comes back in for Chico State. Conrad, a rare miss, only his 6th of the year. Cal State LA will take that as Conrad looking to give Chico State a 2-point lead. Rolls that one in and out, so boy, a rarity there, an 80+% free throw shooter missing 2 straight free throws. Now Singer in the front court. Golden Eagles looking to take the lead again. Tillman, Conrad is there, puts it up, no good. Singer fighting for the loose ball, Tillman fighting for it. It goes out of bounds to the Cal State LA off a Semple. So great effort there by both Solomon Singer and James Tillman. Force the extra possession. And the shot clock will be reset as that shot did hit the rim. Now Singer looking to inbound it. Nowhere to go. Gets off to Watkins and it goes off his leg out of bounds. Bad turnover there. Boy, he probably should have just called a timeout instead. He couldn't find anyone. Threw an ill-advised pass. Ill-advised time for a turnover. That's the 15th turnover for Cal State LA. Now Munson knocks it away, but luckily it goes to Semple. Boy, that should have been a turnover. Tillman is on him. Semple backs in, kicks out to Conrad. 17-footer knocks it down. So Conrad showing his range. He's in the double figures with 10 points. He's the second Chico State player in the double figures. We're under 6 minutes to go, and it's 49-46. Now Tillman gets off to Watkins. Watkins will drive. Underneath, whips the pass to Singer, loses the ball. Fall away, wild 5-footer, no good. Richard tips up, no. Tips it twice, no. Semple at the rebound. It's up right there. 2 tips at it. And now Conrad throws it to, boy, Parker, who lays it up and in. Stephen Thompson wants a timeout. 5:34 remaining in the second half. Chico State on a bit of a run, up 51-46 on the Cal State LA Athletics Network.
You're going to love the steak combos at Sizzler. Tender choice aged tri-tip sirloin, hand cut in-house and flame grilled to perfection. Served with succulent jumbo fried shrimp or Sizzler's famous Malibu chicken. Or a mouth-watering grilled shrimp skewer. For a limited time, starting at just $9.99. Sizzler steak combos. You can't find a better value, so come hungry. Starting at just $9.99. No one brings more to the table than Sizzler.
.534 remaining. Chico State with a 5-point lead. They've gone on a run here. They're on a 7-0 run currently after the Golden Eagles have taken a 2-point lead. Cal State LA has not scored in about 3 minutes. So we'll see if they can break that drought here. Munson gives it over to Watkins. Watkins has been carrying the Golden Eagles offensively here tonight. He has almost half of their 46 points. Now Munson underneath the Richard. Richard puts it up and puts it in. Nice play by Munson. First basket of the game for Jordan Richard. And Conrad the other way puts it up, and boy, Richard fouled him and he went down hard. And they called an intentional foul late. That's a terrible call. Richard went for the ball and Conrad went down hard. We hope he's all right. He landed on his head. That's why he's in so much pain. He landed hard on his head. So they're attending to him. Richard's making sure he's okay. But Jordan Richard went for the block there, and the definition of an intentional foul is a play not made on the basketball. And there was definitely a play made on the basketball there. There is no way that was an intentional foul. But they called it anyway. So Conrad, we'll see if he can go to the free throw line. I'm not so sure. He went down really hard. He's still on the court. And the referee is explaining to Stephen Thompson, and especially if the call was late. It was just a regular foul. And then when they saw how badly Conrad was hurt, which wasn't because of Jordan Richard, it was because of how hard he hit the floor. He hit his head on the floor. That's when the intentional foul was signaled. So Conrad, who's bleeding over one eye, will go to the bench. That's a bad break for Cal State LA because that'll be 2 free throws and the ball out of bounds. And in a 3-point game with just over 5 minutes to go, that is a big play, a big call in this game. Boy, remember that. That could really swing the momentum, as they could possibly get 4 points on this possession. That was only the second foul on Jordan Richard, so no Cal State LA players in serious foul trouble. 5 players have 2 fouls. Conrad has had a good game. He's had 8 points, go along with 2 blocks and 3 steals. So hopefully he'll be okay. He's being attended to on the bench. Players are sitting around as Chico State is huddled around their coach, Greg Klink. So this has been a tough, hard-nosed battle. You'd expect nothing less. These teams are going to meet again near the end of the season on February 23rd. They will meet up in Chico. That's the second to last weekend of the regular season. Coach Thompson's still discussing that intentional foul. Quite frankly, no explanation the referee gives him will be able to satisfy him. And I don't blame him for being upset. I have to call it like I see it, and that was not a correct call at all. Defined by the rules. I would advise even a person rooting for Chico State to look up in the rule book the definition of an intentional foul. And it is a play that is not made on the ball. And Jordan Richard went for the block and absolutely made a play on the ball. But the referee's discussing it with Jordan Richard. It's over now. They're not going to change it. So once we get back underway, someone will be shooting 2 free throws. I'm not sure if it's Conrad. I'll tell you what, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back on the Cal State LA Athletics Network.
California's engineering innovations circle the globe and light the darkness. The California State University system has been enlightening promising engineers for the past 5 decades. Cal State LA graduate Pervez Lodi is the founder and president of Ledtronics, a leading light-emitting diode company.
If you work hard, get proper education, the American dreams are still available there to everybody.
The California State University system has been working for California for 50 years.
We're back underway here. 5:13 to go. Caraway will shoot the 2 free throws. Conrad cannot. Caraway makes the first free throw. So it was a 3-point game when this call was made. Keep that in mind with 5:13 remaining. This is a big point in the game. And Caraway misses the second free throw. So it's 52-48. Chico State will get the ball out of bounds. For the Golden Eagles, Richard, Tillman, Munson, Watkins, and Singer out there. Rosa Rosa will inbound the ball for Chico State along with Semple, Caraway, Barton, who checked in, and Parker. Now Caraway will get it out to Parker, and Chico State will reset as we approach 5 minutes to go here in the second half. Now Caraway off to Semple. Dumps it in low. 3 Golden Eagles are there. Barton gets off to Rosaroso. Richard is lurking. Out to Parker, open for 3. He gets knocked down, no good. Barton gets the rebound, falls down, goes out of bounds. He's holding his ankle. He might have landed on someone's ankle. And the ball will go to Cal State LA. He's hobbling back. So he might have landed on Richard's ankle when he came down. But that'll take us to the media timeout, final one of the night. 4:49 remaining in the second half. Don't go anywhere. This still should be an exciting finish. Cal State LA is trailing Chico State 52-48 on the Cal State LA Athletics Network.
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't.
Yuh-huh.
Nuh-uh.
Yuh-huh.
Okay, what are you guys doing?
We're trying to decide if dibs beats I saw it first does.
Wait, what?
Well, there's only one double-double left for our lunch meeting, and I saw it first.
No.
Therefore, it's mine.
No, I called dibs,
Yes,
which
so
means the
it's dibs.
double-double
No.
should go to me. It's in the rule book.
Nuh-uh.
Yuh-huh.
Nuh-uh.
Yuh-huh.
You dress funny.
I'm telling.
Oh, yeah?
Okay, children, listen, there's only one way to handle this.
Staring contest.
No, rock, paper, scissors.
No, boys, the only grown-up way to handle this is for... Whoa! Hang on, you guys! What is that over there?
What?
Where? Hey, where's she going?
Dude, I think she just took the last double-double.
That's so hot.
Yeah-huh.
There's a fight. I get it.
No, dibs!
For the in-and-out nearest you, call toll-free 1-800-786-1000.
4:49 remaining in the second half. I've been watching Jason Conrad this whole time out, and he's over there in a daze on the Chico State bench. I'm pretty sure he probably has a pretty bad concussion, so as far as concussion protocol goes in college sports, he probably will not be able to return to this game. And we certainly hope that he feels better. We don't want to see that happen to any player. But the Golden Eagles will get the ball. Luckily, there was only 1 point that was scored on that whole turn of events, so Watkins has the ball in the back court over to Munson. Full court pressure by Chico State. Now Singer has it in the front court out there with Tillman and Camper back in the game. Jordan Richard is on the bench, and I believe he's cramping up. Boy, he looks like he's in bad shape right now as Munson has the ball. Now Singer throws it back door, and Tillman didn't know he was going to do that. Tough break there. Richard will check back in, so that's a good sign. I think it was just a cramp, I think. Looked like he was in a bit of pain. Might have been cramps. Camper will sit back down. Richard has played 28 minutes in this game so far, so not heavy minutes. So a bad time for a turnover for Cal State LA. They're 16th of the game. Chico State looking to extend this 4-point lead. Now Sims gets it in low. Caraway gets it back out to Semple. Semple, jump stop, gets over to Parker. 15 seconds on the shot clock. Now Richard comes out to Hedge. Gets over to Caraway, wide open for 3 in the corner, no good. Ball knocked away by Barton, out of bounds. Boy, what a break for the Golden Eagles. Semple was right there for an uncontested putback, and his teammate knocked it away from him. That would have been a sure 2 points. So Willie Trimble will come back in. Singer will sit down. This is certainly to generate some offense, as we have a 2-point guard lineup out there now with Munson and Trimble. Now Watkins over to Munson. Munson brings it into the front court. Just a 2-possession game. Now the player's standing around again, not knowing what to do. Now Trimble gets over to Munson, looking in low to Richard. They get it to Richard, and a foul is called on Semple. That, I believe, is the 17th foul on Chico State, so that should be a 1-and-1. Second foul on Semple. Of course, Richard has struggled from the free throw line this year, as have most of the Golden Eagles. Richard only a 48% free throw shooter on the year. We'll see if he can make this one. Big free throw there by Richard. Clutch free throw at a big time. So Singer comes back in for defense. Coach Thompson has been known to do that in past years. Substitute offense for defense with a certain player, and he's doing that again. Richard looking to cut it to a 2-point game. And he rolls it in. 2 big free throws by Jordan Richard. Make it 52-50. Now Sims in the front court. We're under 3.5 minutes. Semple over to Sims. Munson falls down. Leaves Sims wide open for three, and he misses it. Watkins goes for the rebound. Singer gets it on the floor. Watkins 2-on-1 with Munson. Watts lays it up. Oh, just misses, but a foul. Tough break there. He had Watkins wide open, but he decided to take it himself. Almost made a circus shot. Caraway gets his third foul. So Munson will go to the line looking to tie this one up. Munson made 3 of 4 free throws in the game. Golden Eagles have made 6 of 7 as a team. And he puts down the free throw. So Munson with 5 points on the game. All from the free throw line. Second free throw is good. Excuse me, now he has 5 points. That makes it a brand new ball game, 52-52. Now Sims will bring it into the front court. So the Golden Eagles have scored the last 4 points to catch him. Munson falls down again. Singer underneath Bart. Shot rejected by Richard. Underneath Caraway gets the ball stripped. It goes off his leg, out of bounds to Cal State LA. Great defense there by Jordan Richard and the Golden Eagles. Trimble will check back in. Sure enough, Singer will sit down. So get used to that these last 3 minutes. Great play by Jordan Richard. His 7th block of the game. His season and career high is 8, so he's closing in on that. Now Munson over to Tillman. Now Watkins being pressured. Gets it to Tillman. Tillman drives the paint. In low to Munson. Munson lays it up and lays it in. So Munson with his 7th point gives Cal State LA back the lead. 54-52. Remember, the Golden Eagles have not led in this game by more than 4 points. Well, knocked away, thrown by Trimble. Trimble all the way. Lays up shot, rejected. Great defensive play by Caraway. Blocking a sure layup by Willie Trimble. Now triple teamed. And timeout is called by Chico State. Boy, great play there by Caraway to save a basket. Have to remember that one. Take a timeout, 2 minutes to go in the second half. Cal State LA is leading just barely, 54-52 on the Cal State LA Athletics Network.
What you've gained as a student will be just as important to you as what you did as a player. As long as you know that you made the effort to do the best of which you're capable, there's no failure. Success on 3.
There are over 400,000 NCAA student athletes. And just about all of us will be going pro in something other than sports.
2 minutes to go in the second half. Cal State LA with a 54-52 lead. Well, we said both teams average giving up 57 points a game, and that's about right on the mark that they're near right now. As Caraway, looking backdoor, gets off to Parker instead. Parker back to Caraway. Barton also in there with Semple and Sims. Sims has the ball now. Guarded by Munson. Sims goes around the screen. Now off to Caraway. A long three-pointer in and out. Barton high for the rebound. Around Richard. Barton lays up shot. Rejected by Tillman. Great play by Tillman. Munson gets the loose ball. James Tillman rejecting the shot of a taller player. That was a great block. Now Munson will bring it in the front court. We're under 1:20 to go. Golden Eagles looking to extend their lead. Now Watkins gets over to Munson. Munson over to Singer. Singer goes inside underneath and an offensive foul. He was out of control there. Sure enough, he ran over Barton. Tough break. So that's a turnover. So Chico State with 1:05 remaining. Get the ball, looking to tie the game or take the lead. Of course, Caraway had that long three-pointer on the last possession, just go in and out. Now Caraway has the ball off to Sims. Sims guarded by Munson, goes around the screen. Now around Richard, underneath the Caraway. It's no good. Richard fouled him, so Richard just couldn't stay down. Caraway drew the shot blocker up and got the foul called. Third foul on Richard. So if Richard just could have not taken the bait and stayed down, he was in good position. But Caraway forced him to go up and commit the foul. Caraway makes the free throw. He's 6 for 8 in the game from the free throw line. Chico State only 9 of 15 for the game, 60%. That's unusual for them. Cal State LA 8 for 9. So the team's trading roles at the free throw line. In and out, no good. Richard with the rebound. So the Golden Eagles will bring it up with about a 15-second difference between shot clock and game clock, up by 1 point. Now Munson guarded by Parker. Munson will just slow the game down. And Coach Thompson doesn't like that. He's going to call timeout with 17 on the shot clock. 32.1 seconds remaining in the second half. Cal State LA hanging on dearly to that 1-point lead. So it looks like it'll be a full timeout. So we'll take a quick break and be right back on the Cal State LA Athletics Network.
Girls with curls, I don't know about you, but my hair is crazy. Finally, it's time to stop hating your curls. I have to tell you about my new best friend, Mix Chicks. Mix Chicks has revolutionized curly hair. I no longer fear frizz. Tame your curls with Mix Chicks. All I need is Mix Chicks and I have soft, sexy, defined curls that aren't heavy or sticky. 100% vegan, always affordable, and the secret of the Hollywood elite. Pick up Mix Chicks today at your neighborhood Target store or go to www.mixchicks.net.
I chose Division II because athletes graduate at a higher rate.
I can stay closer to home and be an important part of the community. I chose Division II because I can double major.
And take part in campus activities.
I chose Division II because classrooms are smaller.
Students have more time with their instructors.
And I can compete for a national championship. I chose Division II for all these reasons and more.
I chose Division II.
32.1 seconds remaining. This has been a seesaw second half after the Golden Eagles caught Chico State at 44 about halfway through this second half. It's been back and forth with the teams trading leads. Cal State LA trying to hang on to a 1-point lead right now. Munson has the ball in the front court, 15 on the shot clock. Now Munson gets it back. Watkins calling for the ball. Tillman to the free throw line. Not much happening here. Now Tillman gets it, looks to drive. Tillman spin move. Little 5-foot runner, no good. Tough break. Rebound goes to Barton. 13 seconds left. Wildcats can win the game. Now Parker gets off to Sims. Sims goes inside. Shot rejected. No, missed. Barton with the rebound. Goes off instead. 2 seconds left. And a traveling. Wait a minute. What do they call? I thought they called a traveling violation. And I believe they called it on Cal State LA, so I thought it was on Chico State. We'll have to see who gets the ball here when we come back. Looked like Chico State had the ball and traveled. I'm sure that was the call. Because Singer went down on the ground. I didn't think he had the basketball. But maybe he did. So Chico State, we're going to assume, will have the ball. 2.1 seconds left. As they call timeout. It's a full timeout, but we'll keep it right here. So if Chico State does have the ball with 2.1 seconds left, be interesting to see who gets the last shot. Boy, this officiating crew has left a lot to be desired tonight, quite frankly. It looked like Chico State, a player, I couldn't see who it was, had the ball, and it looked like he was the one who traveled. But instead, they called the traveling violation, I believe, on Solomon Singer of Cal State LA, and gave the ball back to Chico State. So this is going to be a very controversial ending if Chico State somehow pulls this one out, because it looked like it should have been Cal State LA ball. Of course, if you weren't with us a couple minutes ago, the controversial intentional foul call against Jordan Richard, which was incorrectly called, also might be playing a big role in this game. The Wildcats did only score 1 point out of that whole trip, but that's a point that could be the difference in the game. So 2.1 seconds left. Chico State will inbound the ball. Sims out there, you expect him to get the ball, but he's inbounding it. Semple, Parker, Caraway, and Barton. Golden Eagles with Singer, Trimble, Jordan Richard, James Tillman, and Munson. They're 5 best defenders. Now Sims will inbound it in front of the Chico State bench. Here we go. Exciting finish. Inbounds it to Semple. 2 with 1. Semple can't get off the shot, and the game is over. The Golden Eagles win it. 54-53. And listen to the crowd go wild. What a game. So a mistake there by Semple. He could not get off the shot, and he passed the ball when he had no time to pass it. Instead of taking the shot himself, which he had to do with only 2 seconds left. And that resulted in no shot being taken before the clock ran out. So Cal State LA, a big win here. This ties them with Chico State in the conference standings. They go to 5-4 in conference on the year, 8-5 overall. Chico State falls to 8-5 on the year, 5-4 in the conference. So these teams have identical records now. So a big, big win for Cal State LA. To start the weekend, this will propel them into tomorrow night's game against Cal State Stanislaus. And this will put them up a bit in the conference standings. We'll see how things shake out with the other games. I was hoping to get a post-game interview with one of the players, but they all seem to leave the court, so I'm not sure that's going to happen. So let's get to the final stats here. For Chico State, they were led by Rashad Parker, who had 16 points. Amir Caraway was next with 10 points. Jason Conrad and Jordan Semple both had 8 points. DeMario Sims had 7. Mike Rosaroso and Jordan Barton both had 2. For Cal State LA, they were led by Quentin Watkins, who tied a career high with 21 points on 8 of 12 shooting, including 5 bombs from downtown. James Tillman was the only other Golden Eagle in double figures with 14. Joshua Munson had 7 points. Willie Trimble had 5. Jordan Richard had 4 to go along with 7 big blocks and 8 rebounds. And Solomon Singer had 3. Points were at a premium in this game. Cal State LA was only 20 of 55 in the game, 36%. Chico State was 37%. Cal State LA 6 of 15 from long range. That was mostly Quentin Watkins. Chico State 2 of 19, so they struggled probably as bad as they have all year from long range. Of course, that has a lot to do with Cal State LA's defense. Chico State only 9 of 16 from the free throw line in this game. Boy, if they can look for a spot why they lost this game, that would be the spot to look right there. Only 9 of 16 from the line. The Golden Eagles were 8 of 9, so every free throw critical. Golden Eagles ended up out-rebounding Chico State 39-37. Golden Eagles did have 18 turnovers to 15 for Chico State. And the points in the paint were even at about 28. But this was a tight, hard-fought, great game. I hope you enjoyed it here on the Cal State LA Athletics Network. Well, it looks like we're not going to have a player to interview for the post-game interview, so I guess that'll about do it then. From the Eagles Nest, this is Michael Nimitz saying our next broadcast here on the Cal State LA Athletics Network will be tomorrow night, January 19th, as Cal State LA takes on Cal State Stanislaus. The women's game will start at approximately 5:30, with the men's game slated to start at approximately 7:30. So once again, the final score, Cal State LA defeats Chico State 54-53. Good night, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow night.